Julie, I think this one's for you. What's the most common omission that exposes me to FCA liability?
So if you're doing a most common, the garden variety thing I see is you've been signing that you are receiving controlled unclassified information, which is says right there in its name it's not classified, right? So they don't think it's that big a deal. It's quite a big deal. It's covered defense information. You've been signing that you're compliant and you're not compliant, and you don't have a system security plan, and you don't have, I mean, the very first step is of a system security plan is assess the campus, right? Assess the campus, everything we've been talking about. And I would say that the failure to get people in who can help you do that, you wouldn't go to your GP and ask them to set your leg or do brain surgery. And IT is just as differentiated as is law, as is medicine. And I think it's very easy for us not to know that if we're business people or lawyers. But you can't just ask your IT guy who makes your system run, your system administrator, to assess your campus for cybersecurity. You just can't do it. You can't expect it to be right. And I think the most common thing I see is people who just try to brush that down to existing IT and not take on anything else. It never works. I'm supposed to be rapid fire, and I'm not
Thank
good
you.
at that.
All
Sorry.
right, Scott, I think this one's for you. I'm not sure where all our sensitive data resides. How do I practically begin building a defensible data inventory, as you discussed?
I would find the smallest system that you can address, whatever that might be, and start from there. So basically, you think about all the systems. You may have 30, 40, 50 systems that process personal information for whatever reason. Going to the very smallest one you can, maybe it's not terribly important, but you can get your arms around it, attack that one first, and go through this process almost as an exercise. I think you're going to find once you do that one, the next one is going to be a little bit easier, and your knowledge will grow and your experience will grow. Don't try the hardest thing first, like the HR system. That's a beast, and you really want to work your way up to it.
Great, very succinct. Hey, Kevin, someone wants you to elaborate more on the concept of thinking program, not project, when addressing data privacy and security risk.
It goes back to the picture that I showed, and I find a lot of people think that this is a one and done problem. And to me, it goes back to the early days of identity management, which is really where I started my career in the software space. People thought it was a project. I would go ahead and get everything hooked up once and be good to go. And fast forward 20 odd years, and now you have teams of people that work on identity and access management, and they realize it's an ongoing program inside their organization. Data has to be looked at the same way. So it is not a project that you go ahead and say, I am now CMMC compliant. I can check the box and now I move on to the next project on my list. It is a data governance program that addresses the sensitivity of your data, the risk associated with it, and how you're managing it. So program, not project.
Great. Final one here, Scott. What should we be asking our vendors and partners to ensure they're not introducing compliance or security risk into our data ecosystem?
You should be asking them, what have they done prior to your relationship to protect the data that's already under their control? If they don't have a very crisp answer, whether that comes through on their SOC 2 report or on an ISO certification, or they just can't answer some very basic questions like the ones I just cited earlier in my discussion, then you have a problem, and it's better to find out then than after you've ingested that data and found out that you shouldn't have had it in the first place.
Great questions, everybody. Thank you. Great answers.